Hi, this is Marie, and you're watching Sports Chat Fanatic. And I'd like to introduce you to Leonard Marshall, my guest today. And I'm very, very happy to have him here. Hello, Leonard.
Hi, Marie.
I'm so glad you could make it. I wanted to start off by asking you a couple questions about how you got into football.
Go right ahead.
So where did you start? Did you start off on the Pop Warner level?
Actually, I started off, I was too big to play Pop Warner football. As a kid, I found my competitive edge in basketball, believe it or not, because I was tall. And because I had a knack for the game, I loved to shoot the ball, and I loved to dribble the ball. I used to emulate Earl the Pearl Monroe as a kid. And so my game as a kid at 9 years old, 10 years old, was more like Earl the Pearl Monroe, believe it or not. I actually saw myself playing in the NBA more than being a National Football League player. But what touched my life was there was a gentleman playing for the Buffalo Bills that came from my hometown, Louisiana, by the name of Wallace Francis. And he was a teammate of O.J. Simpson and a bunch of players at the Buffalo Bills. And when he got traded to Atlanta, he came to my little hometown and he had a football camp. That's when I took an interest in football.
Okay. So you went on to play at LSU. What was that experience like?
Playing at LSU was a dream come true, to be honest with you, and for a number of reasons. But and I'll try to outline the reasons for you. First and foremost, my father never had a chance to do what I did. And being the first in my family to get a college education was priority number one. Number two was to stay in my home state, represent my state, and play at an institution that would be recognized as one of the elite programs in the country, which LSU became. And number three, being one of the first African Americans in the 70s to play at LSU, and being that LSU was the last team in the SEC to have black players join the football team was really huge. And then there was three guys from my high school that played there before me. So that had a major influence on my decision versus Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, or any other school that was out there recruiting me.
Okay. And I know that you are considered to be one of the top 25 best LSU players. How does that make you feel?
I'm honored. I'm honored. I'm honored to be in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, to be in the LSU Football Hall of Fame, and to have played at a university like LSU and been MVP a couple of times of the football team while I was there. I'm honored. I'm telling you. And I hope one day I get a chance to go back and give more of me to their football program.
Great. Would you ever consider coaching?
I have. It's funny. I'm right now. One of the things that I'd like to do is possibly get into college coaching. I coached a high school football team last year in Jersey City, and I ended up having to leave the school for some problems that they had with their headmaster, and disagreements that he and I may have had about the program and where the program should go. As a result of it, he was fired for drinking on the job and some other things. And prior to that, I made a decision to leave. I just didn't want that association because I like kids so much. So one of my goals is to get into college coaching and one day get back to LSU. Yeah.
So one more question about college football.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of talk with them changing the scenario at the end of the season and including a playoff.
Right.
How do you think that's a good idea for the players?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I think it's one of the most stimulating things about college football right now is creating a better system with the BCS Bowl and everything else. But the thing that ranks a little bit higher for me, to be honest with you, I think college players should be paid. I think the bowl situation and the money that these teams make off the bowl and the representation of players and the exploitation of players, I think they should pay players some sort of compensation when they go into these bowl games because let's face fact. I mean, if you're Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Auburn, and USC, and you've been in a bowl game and a high bowl game the last 10, 15 years, well, every year you make anywhere between $7 and $15 million off just that bowl game. I mean, to pay a player a stipend in the course of a season and to take a kid that came from an urban home not very much money, and say to them, hey, I'm going to help you be able to wash your clothes, go and eat a decent meal so you can feel like a human being, and maybe do a couple other things for yourself while you're here at school in the fall and perhaps in the spring, and I'm not going to exploit you any more than I already have. I think that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice way to say thank you for all you do here in terms of going to class, being professional, representing the club, representing the school, representing yourself as a gentleman. Kids have to wear neckties and fine clothing when they go to games on Saturday. Some kids can't afford that.
Yeah.
So instead of them having schools cheat to give that to a player, I think it's only right that they offer the player a stipend.
Yeah.
Maybe a clothing allowance, maybe some money to do his laundry, maybe some pizza money, whatever it might be, just to keep the kid focused on what he should be doing while he's representing that university.
I think that's great. And what do you think about players who don't finish college and go straight to like the NFL? Do you think that that's a wise choice, or do you think it depends on the player?
Well, every situation is different, the way I see it. And some kids, that's the reason why you go to school, obviously, to set yourself up and establish a second career for yourself should you get a chance to play in the National Football League. I mean, you and I both know less than 1% is drafted every year. There are 30 million players that play this game, and there's only 300 that's drafted every year. So think about that for a minute. And then think about the success rate of players that go on and play multiple years. I mean, that number is very, very low and offers a high rate of return. So, with that being said, you're lucky if you're able to do it. You're even more lucky if you're able to do it on a continuous effort.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.